Okay, so get this. We're diving deep into Sikandar Ka Muqaddar.
Sikandar Ka Muqaddar.
Yeah, and we've got a whole stack of reviews on it.
Oh, wow.
Some are calling it a hidden gem.
Really?
Yeah, and others are saying it's a rough cut.
Interesting. So we've got some differing opinions then.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that always makes for an interesting deep dive.
Absolutely.
So what's this film all about then?
It all centers around this big diamond heist.
Okay, a heist movie.
Yeah, back in 2009 at a Mumbai exhibition.
Wow.
4 red solitaires worth like $7.2 million just vanish.
No way. So that's where it all starts, huh?
Pretty much. Yeah.
And I'm guessing this heist throws some lives into chaos.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So who are our main players in all of this?
Well, the prime suspect is this guy, Sikandar.
Okay.
He's like a computer techie.
A techie involved in a diamond heist. Interesting.
Yeah, and he's played by Avinash Tewari.
Okay.
And the reviews say he gives a really intense performance.
I can see how that role would call for some intensity. So is he actually guilty, or is there more to it?
Yeah, that's the big mystery, isn't it?
Yeah.
But alongside Sikandar, we've also got Kamini.
Okay.
She's a single mom who works at the jewelry store.
Oh, so she's connected to the heist then?
Yeah, definitely.
I see.
And she's played by Tamannaah Bhatia.
Okay, I know her.
Yeah, and actually one review praised her performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they said she goes beyond like that typical damsel in distress trope.
Oh, that's good to hear. I always like when female characters get to be more than just a stereotype.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's also Mangesh Desai.
Okay.
He's this veteran employee at the store.
Ah, so we've got that classic inside job possibility.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Makes you wonder about the dynamics between all these characters.
Definitely. Who knew who was playing who?
Right, exactly.
And then we've got our cop.
Okay, the one who's trying to solve this whole thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jaswinder Singh.
Okay.
Played by Jimmy Shergill.
Ah, Jimmy Shergill.
Now, one review pointed out that he's always either a cop or a gangster in movies.
That's funny. Yeah, I can see that.
So anyway, Jaswinder is completely convinced that his gut is never wrong.
Oh, that can be dangerous.
Right.
Yeah, especially for a cop.
And his gut says Sikandar is guilty.
So he's fixated on him then.
Oh, yeah, totally.
I see where this is going.
And that's where things take a turn.
Oh.
Yeah, the film jumps forward like 15 years.
Wow, 15 years.
Yeah, and we find Jaswinder, well, he's an alcoholic now.
Oh, no.
He's washed up, lost his job.
It sounds like this case really consumed him.
Yeah, and he also lost his wife.
So he's lost everything.
Pretty much. And here's the kicker.
What's that?
He reaches out to Sikandar, who has like rebuilt his life in Abu Dhabi, to tell him that he was wrong.
He was wrong. Wait, so he admits he was wrong about Sikander after 15 years?
Yep.
Wow, that's a huge twist.
Right.
So what's his motive now after all this time?
That's the big question.
Is he trying to clear his conscience, or is there something more to it?
I don't know. The reviewers didn't seem to know either.
Wow, so much mystery.
But it brings up a point that one review made.
Yeah.
They called it the Netflix problem.
The Netflix problem. What's that?
Basically, the film is just overloaded with twists and turns.
Okay.
And they end up being more cheesy than clever.
I've seen that before. Too many twists can actually ruin a good story.
Exactly.
So what kind of twists are we talking about in Sikandar Ka Muqaddar?
Well, one review mentioned this scene where one character's like, oh, I knew that all along. And then another character's like, oh, well, I knew that you knew it all along. And then it turns out the first character knew that the second character knew that they knew it all along.
Oh, come on. That's ridiculous.
It's like a never-ending cycle of who knew what.
Yeah, that sounds more confusing than clever.
Right.
Yeah.
And get this, there's another scene.
Yeah.
Where the end slate appears on the screen.
Wait, what?
Yeah. In Comic Sans.
In Comic Sans?
Yeah.
Seriously?
And then it's followed by an oops.
You're kidding.
And then the movie keeps going for another 20 minutes.
So it's like a fake ending.
Yeah. And the reviewer said the added climax was totally unnecessary.
Wow. That's just bad filmmaking.
It sounds more like a high school play than a serious thriller.
Right.
And the same review said the casting is so obvious you can tell who the real culprit is right away.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. Even Sikandar's last name, Sharma, apparently implies innocence.
So they're not even trying to be subtle.
It seems like they're hitting you over the head with the clues.
Yeah, instead of letting the audience figure things out for themselves.
Exactly. So we've got this potentially innocent suspect.
Yeah.
A cop who's obsessed with being right. And a film full of these ridiculous twists.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. And then there's the love triangle, or I guess I should say square.
Oh, right. You mentioned that before.
Yeah, Sikander ends up entangled with 3 different women.
3! Wow. Okay, let's talk about that next. Okay, so 3 women, huh? Tell me more about this love square situation.
Well, the main one is Kamini, the single mom we were talking about before.
Right.
They end up getting married.
So she's not just a passing love interest then?
No, it sounds like she's pretty important to the story.
Interesting.
One review even said that she plays a key part in shaping Sikandar's destiny.
That makes me think she might be more involved in the whole heist situation than we realize.
Yeah, maybe she knows more than she's letting on.
Right. It would make sense considering she works at the jewelry store.
Exactly.
But it's interesting that the reviewers are praising her performance.
Yeah.
I mean, if the movie's relying on all these predictable twists, can she still bring some depth to the role?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
At least that's what the reviews suggest.
Right.
One even said she brought a lot of nuance to the character.
So maybe she has more agency than we initially thought?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, what about the other 2 women?
So there's Priya.
Okay.
She's a nurse who takes care of Sikandar's mom.
Oh, so she represents that caring side of his life.
Yeah, I guess so.
And the third one?
Her name is Tabassum, and she's a colleague of his in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
They go to the movies together every week.
So she's like a symbol of his new life.
Yeah, maybe that sense of normalcy he's trying to build.
Right.
But it's hard to say for sure based on these reviews.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like the movie really delves into these relationships too deeply.
That's a shame. I always think it's more interesting when a film explores those personal connections.
Yeah, me too.
How they're affected by everything else that's going on.
Right.
But speaking of interesting, we were talking about the pacing earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Some reviewers found it kind of slow, especially after that 15-year jump.
Right.
But others thought it was just right.
Yeah, they called it a character study.
I see so more about exploring the characters' inner lives instead of just focusing on the action.
Right.
Which makes sense for a story like this with all the twists and turns and the cop's obsession.
Definitely.
It gives them time to really dig into those complex emotions.
Yeah, like Jav Winder's obsession.
Right, what led him down that path.
Yeah, why couldn't he let go?
Did the reviewers give us any insight into that?
Not really, which is kind of disappointing.
It is, yeah. It's such a fascinating idea.
It is.
This cop, who's supposed to be a symbol of justice,
right,
becomes the villain because of his own obsession.
And it's not just Sikandar who suffers.
No, you said he lost his job, his wife, everything.
Exactly. It's like a cautionary tale about obsession.
It is how it can consume you and destroy everything.
And make you the villain of your own story.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder what kind of person Jaswinder was before all this.
Yeah. Did something in his past push him in this direction?
It's like the question of fate versus free will.
You're right.
Did he choose this path or was he destined for it?
And what about Sikandar?
Yeah, is he just a victim of circumstance?
Or does he have a hand in shaping his own destiny?
It's hard to say.
But the reviewers did mention that the film uses flashbacks.
Oh,
so maybe we get some glimpses into Jaswinder's past.
Maybe we see what made him this way.
Yeah, like maybe a previous case where he felt like he failed.
And now he's trying to overcompensate.
Right. Like it's not even about Sikandar anymore.
Yeah, it's about him proving himself right.
At any cost.
Exactly.
Which brings us back to the Netflix problem.
The twists.
Yeah.
What if they're just distractions?
From the real story.
Yeah, the story of what happens when the pursuit of truth becomes an obsession.
And how that obsession can corrupt even the best intentions.
And how it affects everyone involved.
It's a much deeper and more complex theme than just a simple heist.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like Sikandar Ka Muqaddar is trying to be more than just entertainment.
Yeah, it wants to make you think.
About justice, obsession, fate, all these big ideas.
Exactly. And it's not just the story that's interesting.
Oh, what else is there?
Well, visually, the film is supposed to be stunning.
Really?
Yeah, it shows this contrast between Mumbai and Abu Dhabi.
Ah.
Mumbai all vibrant and chaotic. And then Abu Dhabi with its sleek, modern cityscape.
Representing those two worlds Sikandar lives in.
Exactly.
The one where he was accused.
Right.
And the one where he's trying to rebuild his life.
And the flashbacks add another layer to it.
The flashbacks.
Yeah, visually they help to create this sense of mystery and intrigue.
So it's visually impressive, thematically ambitious, but maybe the plot is a bit too much for some people.
Yeah, that seems to be the consensus.
Which brings us back to the performances.
Right.
The one thing everyone seems to agree on.
Yeah, we've talked about Avinash Tiwari and Tamannaah Bhatia. But what about Jimmy Shergill as Jaswinder?
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He is.
But he plays a lot of cops and gangsters.
He does.
So does he bring anything new to this role?
It sounds like it. Yeah, one review said he brings a natural suave to the character.
Okay, so he makes it look effortless.
Right. But at the same time, he shows Jaswander's internal struggle.
So he's balancing those two sides.
Yeah, the charm and the turmoil.
It's a tough role to pull off.
It is.
And Avinash Tiwari is Sikander.
Yeah.
He got a lot of praise, too.
He did the reviews, said he shows a lot of range.
So he's not just playing the victim?
No, he's fighting back, trying to take control of his life.
Which is interesting because Jaswander seems to be giving up on everything except this case.
Right. It's like two sides of the same coin.
Two different ways of responding to adversity.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the story, the performances, the visuals.
Yeah.
But there's one more thing I have to ask about.
What's that?
The music.
Oh, the music. Yeah. One reviewer had a lot to say about that.
They did.
Yeah, they said it was way too dramatic.
Too dramatic.
Yeah, like even in simple scenes.
I can just imagine it.
Right.
Like someone's making a cup of tea and the music is swelling like it's some kind of life or death situation.
Exactly. And the reviewer gave this hilarious example.
Yeah. What was it?
There's this scene where a character is just moving in with his girlfriend.
Okay. Not exactly action-packed.
Nope. But the music makes it sound like he's walking into a trap.
So they're trying to force the drama.
Yeah, it sounds like they're overcompensating for the weaknesses in the plot.
By manipulating the audience's emotions.
Exactly. But none of the other reviews really mention the music.
Maybe it's just a matter of personal taste.
Yeah, some people might like it, others might find it distracting.
So we've got a movie that's visually stunning.
Yeah.
The performances are great. It explores some really complex themes.
But the plot might be a bit much.
And the music could be over the top.
Yeah.
So is Sikandar Ka Muqaddar worth watching?
I think it depends on what you're looking for.
Okay.
If you want a straightforward action thriller, this might not be for you.
Right.
But if you're interested in something more character-driven, something that makes you think about the choices we make,
and the consequences of those choices,
then that might be worth checking out.
I see sometimes those flawed films are the most interesting.
They're the ones that spark debate.
Yeah. Make you question things.
Exactly. And speaking of questioning things,
Yep.
we have one final thought for you to consider.
Okay, I'm listening.
Hey, what if the missing diamonds weren't the real prize all along?
What do you mean?
Yeah. What if the real story isn't about the diamonds at all?
Okay. I'm intrigued.
What if it's about, like, the pursuit of truth?
The pursuit of truth.
Yeah, think about Jaswander.
Okay.
His whole obsession comes from this need to be right.
Right.
He has to prove his gut instinct was correct.
Even if it costs him everything.
Exactly. And maybe the diamonds were just a trigger.
For something deeper.
Yeah, a catalyst for his own personal journey.
So it's not just about justice, then.
Maybe not.
It's about validating his own beliefs.
Right, about proving himself right.
And what about Sikander, then? Where does he fit into all of this?
Well, he's on the other side of it.
Okay.
He's the one dealing with the consequences.
Have Jaswander's obsession.
Exactly. His life is turned upside down because of it.
So the film is showing us both sides of this pursuit of truth.
Yeah, the seeker and the accused.
And how that pursuit can have unintended consequences.
Absolutely, even devastating ones.
This makes me think about the whole criminal justice system.
Oh, yeah.
We see this cop who's convinced of a suspect's guilt based on a hunch.
Right.
A flawed investigation, a wrongful accusation.
And the system failing to protect an innocent man.
It's a powerful indictment.
It is, and Jaswander loses everything because of it.
His career, his family, his reputation.
All because he couldn't let go.
It really shows how destructive obsession can be.
Yeah, at what point does the pursuit of truth become more harmful than the truth itself?
And it goes back to that question of fate.
Yeah. Is Jaswander just a victim of his own obsession?
Was he destined for this self-destruction?
And what about Sikander?
Right. Is he just a pawn in this game?
Or can he break free?
So many questions.
I know, and the film doesn't really give us any easy answers.
But it does make us think.
It does. And that's what makes it more than just a typical thriller.
Right. It's a story about morality, about choices, about the consequences of our actions.
And it's all wrapped up in this visually stunning package.
With amazing performances.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like this film really tries to spark a conversation.
Not just about the characters.
But about the systems that shape our lives.
About justice, obsession, fate.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. You've definitely given me a lot to think about.
That's what we aim for here on The Deep Dive.
You've succeeded.
To make you think critically, to spark your curiosity.
I went into this thinking Sikandar Ka Muqaddar was just another thriller. But now I see it's so much more than that.
I'm glad to hear it. And for everyone listening, we hope this deep dive has given you a new perspective on the film.
It has.
Maybe it'll even inspire you to check it out.
Definitely.
And if you do, let us know what you think.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Until next time, keep diving deep.